Hello, welcome to the Nightmare Cabin. It's we're taking an absolute battering at the moment. It's done nothing but piss down for days now, and it seems like we're the one part of the country where it's not snowing, so it looks like that's on its way. But what are we talking about today? What a year so far. We had Frozen Salt to begin with, Depravity, and now we're going back to Australia, and we've got the new album from Werewolves. Now, if you're already a subscriber of the channel, then you know how much I loved the first album. If you are new to the channel and this is your first video, welcome aboard. But I encourage you to go back and check out my top 10 of 2020, and then my very first video, highlights of 2020 so far, and I'll go into a bit more depth about the first album, and I also show off the vinyl I've got. I didn't get the vinyl of this one, unfortunately. I'm watching my money at the moment, basically. You don't know what's around the corner at the moment. But yeah, so basically we hit the ground running, really. Where this first album picked up, left off, this one picks up. Not even a year since that one came out, and I remember around the time this came out, I watched an interview with Matt Wilcock on Into the Necrosphere, Jackie Smith's channel. If you've not seen it, go check them out. Why you would be watching me and you not subscribe to them, I don't know. But yeah, you never know. But yeah, Jackie gave a really good interview with Matt. Where was I going with this? Yeah, and he even said then, no, the second album's pretty much done, all we need is vocals. So that was like nearly a year ago. So is there a difference with the two albums, really? I would say this one, the guys got together not knowing what they were doing. I think the drummer, David Haley, I think that's his name, just check that. Yeah, David Haley had some studio time. Him and Matt just jammed out and saw what they could come up with, came up with a bunch of songs, and then got Sam involved to do vocals, and it basically became Werewolves. I just think on this album they knew what they were doing, they knew they were writing a Werewolves album, so it's just a bit more developed and a bit more solidified, but everything's in place. There's subtle, mind you, this was the first album anyway, but there's a bit more melody in this one as well, but not in a way, it doesn't take away from the heaviness or the intensity at all. It just adds another layer of sinister atmosphere, really. Kicking off really with I Don't Like You. Name a death metal album that starts with a 1, 2, 3, 4. How fucking good is that? Literally 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, and then just kicks in, and it's just relentless. It's brutal yet catchy, and again, even just in like little chorusy bits, or even like little bits towards the end, there's like this lovely melodic shredding, like, you know. And they did a bit on the first album, but I think this they just kind of dip into black metal. So again, I remember Matt saying how much of an influence Marduk is an influence on him, and you can kind of see it, especially that Panzer Marduk division, is it? You know the one, the Raining Blood of black metal, and where it's just blast beats all the way through. And it's about what was it, half hour long. You kind of get that the way, like Marduk, they're a black metal band, but they can seamlessly tour with a bunch of death metal bands. You kind of get that with Werewolves, I think. With the right, they're going to be touring, yeah. When the time comes, they could do a live gigs with death metal bands, but could probably pull off a few black metal shows as well. But anyway, I digress. Sublime wartime voyeurism. Again, the it's just the riffs and the drums. It's just fucking fantastic. And Sam's vocals are a bit more varied on this album, I think, as well. He's doing a bit more of his voice. The guy can do so much with his voice as well, just by doing death metal. But he can still do so much, going really deep, really high. He's kind of doing mainly this sort of raspy scream on this album as well, but it all melds together nicely. But there's just like this, it's just lovely bits where it just breaks down with this chugga 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 dong, you know. It just, the way the songs just come together and are just spaced out nicely. The guys just know when to chop and change and when to, well, mostly they know when to end it as well. I mean, none of the songs on this outstay their welcome. There's only one track on the album that's over 5 minutes. Everything's about 3.5 minutes. It's just bang, bang, bang. I think the whole album is about just over half hour. Flies by. Not an ounce of fat on it. It's fantastic. And but even then, on the second song, there's this like it breaks down to like a nice, quiet, clean bit, and then just kicks in again to this real melodic. Again, I say melodic shredding. It's just, you know, but it's just melody being played. But again, it just adds to the atmosphere. It just adds to the sort of dark feel about it. Mission. What's the word? Mission statement. Sorry. That song is just relentless as well. But I think pretty much from the reviews I'm seeing so far and what people are sharing, Crushgasm seems to be the hit, if for want of a better term. But again, that's a really good song as well. It's just got the right riffs and the right space and the right, you know, the odd tail here and there, and yeah, it's just trying to get me trying to fault really. It's just, I'm just listening to it over and over again at the moment. It's turned up yesterday in the post, and I've listened to it non-stop. So I'm trying to remember all the riffs and trying to sing them along, but it's just not happening. But oh, that's it. Crushgasm's got this bit where it kind of just breaks that down. So it's like a dun, chugga, 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 dun, you know. What's the? I think it's. I can't remember if it's Unfathomably Fucked or Antisocial. But again, there's a real nice slow bit in that. Again, everything is just perfectly paced. When for every bit things get really fucking fast and really brutal and really, they don't go overly technical to a point. Actually, they're technical when they need to be, but it's never off-putting, never over the top. There'll be a slow bit to counteract it, so everything just bounces back and forth nicely. Traitors and Bastards as well, it's got a fantastic riff towards the end. I'm trying to think how it goes, I can't remember now. But see, it's pretty much just brutality all the way through. But then things take a slight left turn with the last track. They will pay with their own blood, and that's like a slow sort of mid-paced song, like dun, dun, bum, 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 you know. And it's almost got like a gothic or industrial feel to it. It's quite crazy, and that kind of just takes things nicely. It speeds up at the end and goes all intense and whatnot and the things, but it's just the first half of the song. It's it just takes things back a bit and plays into a nice sort of groove. But yeah, this is just one of the best bands to come out in recent times. Just within a year, they've just smashed out 2 amazing albums, and they just do what they say on the tin. So, well, what more do you want? I mean, the 3 members' collective CVs just speak for themselves. I mean, Dave Haley, it was also in the Amenta, by the way. I just did an interview with the Amenta for their new album. New album's really good, and that's going to be in Metal Legion magazine. But yeah, I didn't realise Dave Haley drums in them as well. But both Dave and Matt are in a Bremelin. Matt and Sam are also in the Antichrist Imperium, and they also were in the Berserker. So, I mean, let's just have a look at Dave Haley here. He's the Amenta Disseminate, Blood Duster. They're another classic Australian death metal band. I think they're more on the grind side, but you know what I mean. They all three have been around the block. They've all done it. They know what works and what doesn't. You know. So when they get together and just go, right, no messing around, no stupid, you know, let's just play some death metal the way we know it, the way we love it. I don't want to say old school, it's just classic. Just timeless, classic, well-made death metal, which is fun to listen to. It's catchy as hell. It's always perfectly paced, perfectly balanced. Just two fantastic, faultless slices of death metal. What more could you ask for? So, oh, my only one criticism of this album, and it's a real, the bands tend to use samples of films. So, a song will come to a very sudden end, and then there'll be a sample for a film, and then bang into the next track. In this one, they do it on the second track. I think it's from American Werewolf in London. There's something about only a wild beast could have done this, or a guy goes, or a lunatic, and then yeah, I think that's from American Werewolf in London. But then there's another one where it's like, it sounds like an Australian guy, get out my fucking way, you cunt. And then there's another one which I think is from Bronson. So the samples have tend to gone to. I was waiting for one from Chopper, to be honest. I would have used more samples from like werewolf films is all. I would have stuck to the horror theme, but what's it about? Yeah, but some people don't even like people use film samples, but I think it's cool when it's done right. Some bands do tend to over rely on them and just use them for the sake of them at times, but these ones are pretty cool. I like them. But yeah, I would have stuck to the horror theme in the samples is all. That minute criticism, but yeah, awesome. Like I say, we had Frozen Soul, so you got the whole kind of slow, kind of dirgy, mid-paced, groovy bolt thrower. Depravity, again from Australia. Technical sort of suffocation, sort of balls to the wall stuff, and then you got Werewolves with perfectly balanced, right bit of melody, classic death metal with a bit of black metal drizzle just on the end. That's the finish. Absolute perfection. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, Werewolves, can't go wrong. I'll speak to you all later. Thanks for watching. See ya.